I knew Tracy-Ann Oberman. We did a production of Noises Off, that crazy farce, which couldn't be further from this. And I went to see this in the opening week it was ever on at the Watford Palace, God, 2 years ago probably. And I just thought, my goodness me, can I tell you a tiny story about me and Shakespeare? So,
Yes.
just for anyone watching or listening to this, I am someone who fully understands if someone says, "Oh, I don't like Shakespeare." I went to a massive comprehensive school where, and they said, I think it was the Royal Shakespeare Company, they're coming to do Shakespeare in our sports hall, and you have to go. And I remember going, all right, if I have to go, I'm going to enjoy this. So I brought not one, but 2 packets of Smarties with me and threw them during the show at the actors. That was me. And I hit Romeo in the head. And I remember he nearly went to kill me. I was in the second row and it was so exciting. I went, oh, this is exciting. So I've gone from someone throwing Smarties at the actors in Shakespeare to it being just my favorite thing ever. So and this production is exactly what I'd have stopped throwing those Smarties if I'd have seen this, because it's been brilliantly trimmed. So it is only an hour and a half of theatre, not some 3-hour epic. With the interval and ice cream, it's 2 hours total. And this story could not be more useful for today. 1936, there was an amazing civil rights moment in British history where the British Fascist Party, led by Mosley, was doing incredibly well, kind of better than Hitler's party was doing in 1936. And there was a thing called the Battle of Cable Street. Really, it was just a standing up. And it wasn't just the Jewish community, it was Afro-Caribbeans, it was the sailors, it was everyone got together on this march that the fascist party were doing and said, no, you're not coming through here. You're not welcome here. And it changed everything. And it is just, so this Shakespeare play with this famous Jewish character, Shylock, it's the first ever woman playing it, Tracy-Ann Oberman, she's amazing. But this is her great-grandmother's story. Her great-grandmother was there at Cable Street, and it's a play that is racist. And rather than shy away from it, it's so much more useful to go, let's look at people being disgusting. Shakespeare's such a humanitarian that even though by definition he wrote a racist play, at that time he didn't know any better. But he's such a humanitarian. He gave this character of Shylock, which is kind of a baddie in his world, this amazing hath not a Jew eyes. If you prick us, do we not bleed? This amazing speech, which is just all about empathy and which is lacking in the world today. So this sounds a bit speechy. It's not meant to. It also has a lot of laughs. I have to paint a moustache on every night for a little extra role I play for one scene, which is my favorite thing ever. I play this Spanish guy trying to get in the knickers of the posh girl, because it's only about 10 actors doing 20 parts in this show.
They're getting the money out of you, aren't they, Joseph?
They blooming are. I personally am a bit theatred out. I've been doing it 30 years, and I kind of now, I have to pay my rent like everyone else, but I kind of go, oh, no, thanks, quite often with theatre. They're like, you're all right. Honestly, I have day jobs that I do. I can work in a bar and I care for old people is my between acting jobs. And I'm quite happy to go and care for old men, rather than 8 shows a week and touring around the country. But this one I had to do.
I think, because you feel like it's giving you a challenge. It is giving you something that you think, oh, this feels more worthy than anything else. I think it's hilarious that you say that you didn't like Shakespeare, because I know that you've played numerous roles. You played in
so
Macbeth,
many.
come on, that is the man, right?
Yeah, and I played Benedict at the RSC. I played Hamlet and all of the big ones, and Henry V and all of that now. And I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, I guess. And this guy, this Shakespeare dude, anything you need, it is in there. It's crazy, and he doesn't preach ever. It's fascinating. Anyway, but
It's great that it is shortened from my point of view. I love Shakespeare, but I remember going to see A Winter's Tale once, and I literally, it felt so long that
it felt like it was spring by the time you'd finished.
Well, it certainly did. I was like, I'm not going to lie. So again, I think for audiences today, I think
Yeah,
people who want to try it out,
yeah,
then you could go to this and go,
yeah,
oh, actually, it's
yeah,
not how I imagined it to be. And
yeah,
anyway, you said you're busy with the acting, you're busy
yeah,
with the caring, the bar
yes,
work.
yeah,
You write as well.
yes,
And I'm loving the fact that fresh in 2023, getting your playwriting
yeah,
and going
yeah,
back and returning to that. How does that
yeah.
feel being
Well,
on the other side of it?
it's amazing. It's the flip side of obviously there's a lot of horrors with COVID and lockdowns, but a lot of people had a lot of silver linings. A lot of people shook their lives up and had a look at what they're doing. And I went back to school and did a master's degree in screenwriting. And since then, I have directed short films, which have done really well and won awards. But then I took the brave move and actually did the unimaginable and spent 2 years getting it together. And earlier this year, I wrote and directed a feature film, but I didn't muck about. Shot it abroad. We shot it, we've sold it. It's coming out in cinemas towards the end of the year, the end of summer. A beautiful, beautiful little drama comedy called Signs of Life, which is very easy to find on all the social doodahs, Signs of Life One or just Signs of Life Film. But it'll be out end of the summer, and it is a beautiful, uplifting film about kindness and connection with a lot of laughs.
How is
And
that going to feel when that comes out? Because that is a labor of love, right?
it was literally a labor of love. I counted them up. I did 18 people's jobs on that film, from driving the minibus to making props to being hair and makeup. But it is fully professional. Like, we've got an Oscar-winning composer did the score. The actors in it are world class. Who did it at union minimum rates as a favor. I basically called in 30 years of favors,
That
and
is good.
it's
And
paid off.
testament
Yeah,
to you and the people that you have worked with.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, if you have done hair and makeup for that film, you can definitely do that mustache every
Oh
night
yeah,
on
I
stage.
give great draw on moustache every night with this little wonder. Which, look at this. This is an eyeliner which has its own eyebrow brush and sharpener in the lid.
It's great what
We
they
live
can
what a
do.
time to be alive.
Absolutely. I mean, Dragon's Den,
Yeah,
where was that at the time? Would have ate it all up.
yeah,
Do you know what? Before I let you go,
yeah.
we have a mutual person in common.
Oh, yeah.
And I read that when you went to Rose Bruford,
Yeah.
lots of people helped you on the way and kind of
Yes.
supported you. And there's a lady called Judith Barker.
Oh my goodness.
And I know her
Oh
and
my
her
goodness.
husband who worked at the Oldham Coliseum, the Rec.
Yes.
Do you know what? How lovely is it when you get people like that who support young actors on their journey? Because
Well,
it's hard, isn't it,
it is
putting
hard.
yourself through drama school?
I honestly, I owe Judith everything, and I'm blushing at how little I'm in touch with her, considering. But she does know. I hope she knows how much I have let her know in the past. But I need to get back into. I owe Judith everything. I was the sort of flyman, assistant stage manager, general dog's body, 17-year-old at a theatre, and she and a couple of other people in this musical I was working on as a general dog's body sort of took me under their wing, and Judith especially more or less drove me to London, pushed me through the door of a drama school and said, you need to do this, and then sent me a few £100 when I was absolutely on my bum. Unbelievable. And then she came to see my first ever job, which was a terrible musical at the Manchester Palace, and on that night, on the very night she was coming, the show collapsed and folded, and we were all sent home because the company had gone bust. I mean, all this is in, I'm not plugging it. I wrote a memoir of my first 10 years in the business, called Work and Other Four-Letter Words, and that whole story's in there. And because of Judith, I'm very, very, very committed to what, Jack Lemmon called sending the elevator back down. Not that I'm at any great height in this business, but I have time always for young people having a crack at this. And I wrote that book deliberately because I didn't have an easy start. And this book I wrote is a funny, really reassuring and inspiring, and yet also awful reality check on entering this business. And Judith Barker is one of the greatest people on planet Earth.
We need to get her to Lowry when you come. We need to try and
That
sort
would be
that out, don't we?
amazing. I
We
mean, I'm
do.
just doing basic 101 baddie acting here, but I still have her to thank for it.
Amazing, amazing. And talking of those memoirs,
Yeah.
it does actually log some of the mishaps you've had on stage. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you've had an axe in your head at
I
one
have.
point.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried. Has there been any injuries on tour yet with Merchant of Venice 1936?
Touch balsa wood, no.
Good,
No.
good.
We no scary fights in this either, really. But you never know. There are stairs to fall down everywhere, aren't there?
Well, I'm going to keep my fingers and toes
Yeah.
crossed for when you come to
Oh,
Salford.
thank you.
I
If you're
honestly
in
can't
touch with
wait.
Judith, I don't have contact details, so please, yeah, I'd be amazing
We're
to see
putting the
her.
shout
I'll
out right
sign it. Yeah,
now.
yeah. There we
Judith,
go.
if you are watching,
Uh,
get in touch
Yeah.
and let's make this
Oh my
happen.
God, let me buy you lunch and a ticket. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Oh, and you can buy Judith lunch and a ticket
All
too.
right, you're on.
See what I did there?
Very good.